Bev's Video Kingdom is intended for a mature audience. Listener discretion is advised.
Bev's Video Kingdom is brought to you by 7-Minute Cigs. You heard of this thing, 6-Minute Cigs? Well, this is going to blow that right out of the water. Listen to this. 7-Minute Cigs. Think about it. You walk into a corner mart, you see 6-Minute Cigs sitting there. Then there's 7-Minute Cigs right beside them. Which one are you going to pick, man? Bingo, man. Bingo. 7-Minute Cigs. And we guarantee just as good flavor as the 6-minute, folk. If you're not happy with the first 7 minutes of your cig, we're going to send you the extra minute free. You see? That's it. That's our motto. That's where we're coming from. That's from A to B. Wait, what'd you say?
What happens when you get somebody releasing 9-minute cig?
No. No. No, not 9. I said 7. No one's coming up with 9. Who smokes for 9 minutes? You'll blow up your heart like a mouse on a wheel. 7's the key number here. Think about it. 7-Elevens, 7 dwarves, 7, man. That's the number. 7 chipmunks twirling on a branch, eating lots of sunflowers on my uncle's ranch. You know that old children's tale from the sea? It's like you're dreaming about gorgonzola cheese when it's clearly brie time, baby. Step into my office, because you're fucking fired. 7-Minute Cigs.
Oh, Brad. Did you guys coordinate that beforehand?
No, I just saw it coming. I was like, oh God, I gotta figure out when to ask him.
I thought he sent you a text.
No,
I know.
no.
You had your phone out too. I was like, oh, did they coordinate this?
No.
They're best
Damn
friends.
it.
I wanna be at Beverly's, bringing me home with my movies. Just a blind ride, no reason why. I love this scene. Nick Nate, I can brag your favorite podcast. Let's start this thing. Woo!
What's up, Bevs fans? We're back. And we are talking about definitely, maybe, definitely, always be my maybe.
That's what I
Definitely
asked.
talking about definitely maybe.
We're definitely talking about definitely maybe.
I had to
Okay.
send a text like, are we doing always be my maybe?
And then Brad's all, we're doing definitely maybe.
This
Definitely.
is Bev's Video Kingdom.
Anything you put on the screen, he will read. Yeah, so we're doing definitely maybe. This is Nate, and this is my pick because I'm Mr. Ryan Reynolds and Mr. Romcom. So
Sing it proud.
That is what I call you. I'm like, they're like, what's your friend Nate? Like, I'm like, he's like Mr. Ryan Reynolds.
and just leaves it there, which works really well for me until they find out that just because I'm a huge Ryan Reynolds fan.
That's all it is.
We just don't tell people that. So we're doing definitely Mabel, the 2008 romantic comedy. It's one that I really like. And it's starring Ryan Reynolds, but it's got a whole cast of really good, interesting actresses in it, including Rachel Weisz, Abigail Breslin, Elizabeth Banks. Sorry,
And the daughter too. I like
Isla
the daughter.
Fisher. That's Abigail Breslin. Isla Fisher. It's a movie that it's far from perfect, and we will have I will have plenty of nitpicks here tonight. But there's something about it, and I one of the things I love about the pod is I've watched movies many times and come to really like have a relationship with the movie and like it or have particular feelings about it, but have them go completely unexamined, right? Because like I'm not trying to be particularly critical about it unless I'm having to be talking to somebody about it in a deeper context. So I keep returning to these movies for the pod, and I am able to like try to put into words what I like about them. And what I like about this one, I realized, I think, is that it gives you that kind of it gives you the romantic comedy feel, but it also like introduces the complicated and sort of sad nature of love in a lot of different ways, right? And so this one, and they're a little on the nose about it at times, but I think it does a good job of putting you in the situation of lots of different like versions and iterations of romantic love and the fallout from that and the complication of that and making you sort of ask, okay, well, in that situation, like, what would I do? How would I feel about that? And so, yeah, you know, it like has that a little bit of a predictable, you know, arc and ending, but there's a lot of things in there that I think aren't in a lot of other rom-coms. So I love it, but I want to hear what my guys think, because I think a lot. So how many had seen it before?
I had not seen it.
Brad?
I saw the trailer like before it came out,
Yeah, I saw that trailer.
and it kind of like intrigued me, but no, I didn't.
I don't think I even saw the trailer, y'all.
Wait, Nick, you hadn't seen it?
No.
Wait, I didn't know, and any of you hadn't seen it. Oh, this could be a real shit show tonight.
It could be.
So did you think we had seen it?
I thought someone said they really liked it. Oh no, I know. Wait, Scotch Beck's sitting in with us here. He said if we ask, he will answer. He's hanging tonight. Scotch, you had seen it.
Absolutely, I've seen it a few times actually. I really enjoy.
And you
this
really
movie.
like it, yeah.
I think it was me when I saw you list it. I was like, I got excited.
I projected that shit to everybody. I thought everyone would say, okay, you guys haven't seen it. Okay, I got to brace myself here. All right, so the movie came out in 2008. It grossed $55 million. It's really successful. I think it's had some pretty decent staying power. It's often talked about in the last 20 years best rom-coms. So it's definitely one that that is well regarded among the rom-com community, which is an important, pretty tight group.
Nate, how close is this to Love Actually in your rom-com rankings?
So, I don't know. So I last did an actual official ranking of movies in 2004.
It's been a while.
And so Love Actually was really high then, and I
Love Actually wasn't out then. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. I was thinking
Definitely maybe was
definitely
not
maybe, yeah. So this would be probably among rom-coms. It would be definitely in my top 10,
but just among rom-coms.
Yeah, I don't think this one cracks like the top, even maybe top 40 or 50 for like overall movies. Maybe not even top 70. I don't know. Like
It doesn't. Okay.
But I like it. Like I don't want to over. I'd have to think hard about this. I don't think for me it's probably a Love Actually level. But I will say that Love Actually has fallen some, not in small part because you guys are dicks. All right, so
I like Love Actually.
let's go right to it. What do you guys think? Nikki, what do you got?
Looking at me.
Nick's looking like he's
I thought he was chomping at the bit to say
Nick's
something.
Because I'm looking at these guys too, because I'm excited to hear what they have to say.
Nick's ready to come on. He's ready to come off.
I'm not,
come off the
but-
bench swinging.
There's a lot of good movies out there, and then you got this movie. I didn't know what to expect. I like Ryan Reynolds. I don't hate him like Zach. I don't have just a deep hatred of all things Reynolds.
But when you watch a movie like this, you start to understand.
You hadn't even seen this yet.
So this is one of the things I sat there watching and knowing that it was made, pushing 15 years ago. Do you like it because you watched it at a certain point, early on, and then a rom-com like this, I just feel like when you see it in the moment, you like it, and then it's hard to not like it after that.
Yeah, so
Just like, that's a lot of movies.
There's some of that
but-
for me, but I will say that I've watched it a lot of times since. Like I probably have seen this movie 8 or 9 times.
So to me, there's just way too much going on. Ryan Reynolds' performance is very blah. He gets filed divorce papers. He has these like deep loves with 3 women, and at the end, I'm not buying that he's just heartbroken that this marriage has fallen apart after going through an entire movie of seeing these connections and the one they actually ends up with. It's very vanilla, the acting performance by him. I've seen him act a lot better. I mean, and that was something that I looked at in this movie. I looked at him like a young Ryan Reynolds who's kind of cutting his teeth, building his chops up a little bit. Because he can act. I think Reynolds can act around that sense of humor. But I liked the women that were selected. I like the actors. I like Rachel Weisz. I do. I actually thought Isla Fisher did a pretty damn good job.
Yeah. So for me, it's tough between the two of them, but Rachel Weisz and Isla Fisher's characters in these I like a lot, both of them. In fact, certainly I would not even dispute the fact that the 3 women love interests are definitely outdo Ryan Reynolds by a mile in terms of the acting, and I think frankly they're all 3 higher caliber actresses, right? I mean,
at that time, I mean they were still
young, but
they outdid them.
They've all done really great stuff.
The other thing that I could connect with is definitely the angst of your 20s. Like if you're dating in your 20s, and into your early 30s, as I was, I could definitely connect with the getting out of college, the wondering what the hell I'm going to do with my life. in addition to, if is this relationship going to work? Is it not going to work? So I definitely, found myself connecting with that and thinking back to those years, and getting through your 20s, which can be crazy and kind of feel like rough, fun in a lot of ways. And you're kind of raging and partying, but there's a lot of stuff to kind of get through. So I definitely dug that, that side of it and connected with that. So that's me.
Zach.
So Ryan Reynolds. So I kind of have a different take than Nick because I hate Ryan Reynolds. And I think that most of his stuff is like really hacky and over the top to me and just really like cartoony in the way that he goes. I mean, he's a handsome man with great abs, but besides that, I don't think he's a great actor.
We didn't see abs in this movie either.
No, he never takes his shirt off. That's in my body bag. But what I'm saying is so Ryan Reynolds, he is kind of tries to play this real straight, or like he hasn't really developed into that weird like Deadpool like super snarky dude yet. So I kind of like him better in this than I do in some stuff that he does later on. And I know that's probably the opposite of a lot of people's opinions, but that's fine with me.
He's definitely understated in it, right? Like,
right.
I mean, I see what you're getting at.
Kind of a straight man.
There are little bits of that, like kind of Ryan Reynolds, like, sort of sarcasm moments, but he does that way less and way more dialed back. And there are some moments in this where I think that there's some transitional points that are not great, but there are also a little bit quieter moments where like I buy what he's doing and it's understated, right?
Right.
It's inconsistent, but it's not absent.
So he gets 3 manic pixie dream girls in this, basically. I don't know if you really count Elizabeth Banks as that, but the other 2 for sure. Like they're just like bubbly and just like the most like always positive, and they always make him feel good about himself. And it's like they're the classic manic pixie dream girls. I just, at the beginning, like, I agree with what Nick said. There's a lot going on. It's a little, I don't think that's a story you ever tell to your kid. I mean, maybe.
Yeah, so this is,
I got that from my body, man.
I watched it with Court, and she just, like, was incensed this time around by this. She's just like, you're never going to tell your kid that, you read her mom's diary and that, like, she had this, like, tryst with
and
this
that
other
she
chick.
slept with that roommate? Yeah. Are you fucking kidding me? Okay, we can move. We can wait.
Oh, I also
without scruples.
So yeah, so that part was a little off for me. But although I love the daughter and I thought the daughter was great, and at one point the daughter tells he says, "Okay, I'm going to tell you a story," and the daughter has to take like 5 minutes to get her pillows and animals ready, and I'm just like, I do this every freaking night. She's like, got to get settled in, get her hair all fluffed out, and then she's like, "Okay, Daddy, read me 12 Little Monkeys jumping on the bed." But
tell me about 12 monkeys.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, I don't even think I understand that movie enough to tell my daughter about it. Anyways, definitely maybe I actually guessed wrong. So I told my wife about halfway through, I was like, the daughter's obviously a redhead, so obviously the mom is the redhead. And then she's like, she is not a redhead. And then it came back to her, and I was like, oh, you're right. She's totally not. So I guessed wrong because I thought he was going to end up with Isla Fisher. I mean, I guess he did in the very end, but yeah. I don't know. I liked the end. I liked some of the stuff. There's some stuff for my body bag that I'll talk about later, but what do you think, Brad?
Yeah, so this movie, I wanted to enjoy it. Ryan Reynolds, I don't feel like, maybe it's the situation where you get into your first kind of like serious role. I mean, not that this is a serious role, but it's like, okay, he was Van Wilder previously, and now he's like leading man in like kind of a romantic comedy. And maybe he didn't want to be like, I'm just going to do this straight and narrow so I can get more jobs later. But like, I don't know. You don't get his personality. And that bothers me, that I just feel like his personality does not get to shine through at all in this movie.
That's why I kind of like it.
I know, which is opposite. When you said it, I was like, I'm one of those people that I wish he had a little bit more to do. But my biggest problem though, so his daughter's 10 years old, right? Is that what they say, 10 years old?
Young.
Yeah, ish.
Okay, so he spent 10 years with Elizabeth Banks, and this is supposed to be like a cool moment when he gets back with her and stuff. But basically, he's telling his daughter about how, I don't really care about your mom. She's kind of a shitty person, and I never really liked her. These other 2 chicks are banging, and they're wild, and I really like them.
Yeah.
But your mom, I mean, fuck. But yeah, we got together. We had a kid. But
and the daughter's like, I wish you would have gotten with, Isla Fisher.
Yeah. And then he's stoked when he does. And like what does he say, Brad? He's like he's like telling the daughter like, oh yeah, and then right before I was about to propose to your mom, I kissed this other girl, and then the next day when I was gonna propose to your mom, she told me she had sex with another guy.
Yeah,
and
How
that
does
never
that
gets brought up
conversation go?
again. He's the slut.
That's a
Okay, we might need to cut that.
No, that's it's a weird situation in which like I'm like I don't really get the point. And I love I'll get this into Shag's Night Body Bag, but I love one of the whole plot device, but the execution was just trash. And by the end of this movie, I was just like, whatever. I asked my kids like, who do you think it is? And they're like, meh.
honestly, I thought the end worked, and I was like, I feel like, but the counting at the end I didn't like. What'd you think about that?
The what?
When they counted to 30,
and then they
like,
walk away, and then she comes running down.
Yeah,
you knew she was coming, bro. I mean, there's no one that thought she wasn't coming.
But that's the recipe, right? Like, I mean, so some of this, right? Like, you know, we haven't done a ton of rom-coms on this, and by far I'm the one that likes these the most. And I think one of the things you do when you come into a movie like this is like you accept that that's going to happen.
They're
right?
going
like,
to end up together.
If this is they're going to be together, and they're going to have something, you know, that is going to be, I don't know.
It's going to be a big conflict.
Obvious, unrealistic, you know, like something that's going to be like feel a little contrived to resolve it, right? Because they want to resolve it in a way that like feels good. And so I think there are times when there's a movie like this that throws you a little bit of curveball and you give it extra points for doing something a little bit different. And I'm not denying that there are movies that can do it better, but I think like it's a little bit like a criticism of the genre more than it is a criticism of this movie, right? I mean, you know, you get into a movie like this, that kind of ending's going to happen, right? Like, or something that's not that much better than that in terms of it being like, you know, more unexpected.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's really like, you know, I look at this and I say, there's a formula for a lot of these kinds of movies that, even though, again, like I think that there's an execution issue with parts of it, and maybe most of all the fact that they use the device to be this like 10-year-old girl who's hearing this terrible story, you know, but the fact that like he's sort of he's, you know, that he's talking about these different relationships that he's had, and to me, right, like the relationships are more, I know I get the focus, right, on the fact that like he's revealing the fact that these women are, you know, great in all these ways and make him feel really good, but there's also like complications with each one of them that are different. And so for me, like, you know, especially the Rachel Weisz character, like I really like the dynamic where like, and I didn't catch it maybe super well until this last time, but she's like obviously in love with the professor, and he's like, you know, she was in love with, she said, I think the daughter says, well, she was in love with the professor the whole time, which, you know, she's never going to pick up and say, but it's an interesting thing to notice, right? For me, it was like as a part of the story.
I see what you're saying with this movie. It's like the Olympics are about to come up. So figure skating, the person that tries to do like the 4 spins, and maybe when they try to land it, they kind of stumble a little bit. It's like they tried that 4 spin, so you give them some credit that they tried to spin 4 times.
Even if you do the 3 spin and land it perfect, it may not be worth as much as the imperfect 4 spin.
Right. And so it's like this one tried to do something a little bit different, and they definitely get props for that. But the execution, I mean, they didn't land it for sure. Like I just felt like it was just kind of like a blah movie. Like there was just nothing that really stood out to me too much.
Oh man, yeah, I really disagree with that. and Scott, okay, well, Scott, give me your take on this. You like this?
I just came here to drink and listen to how much Zach hates Ryan Reynolds, and I was actually kind of disappointed because he didn't come in as hot as I thought he was going to.
Oh no, I thought he was kind of like tolerable.
I took joy this week knowing that you picked this movie just despite him. So I'm a little bit, you know,
pick literally any other Ryan Reynolds movie. I'll hate it.
I've seen this movie a few times. It's one of those movies that kind of just comes on, and I think I've actually only seen it once from start to finish, maybe. And I know I've come in different parts many, many times. And I think what it is, see, I love Ryan Reynolds. I just think something about him makes me feel good. I love his personality. Personally, his humor works for me. So to me, watching a movie like this with him in it, even though he's not doing a whole hell of a lot, it's like a warm blanket on a rainy day.
You seem like such a smart guy too, Scott.
I know. But, you know, and then, you know, you got these amazing actresses that are in it. You know, Isla Fisher, Ryan Reynolds is a warm blanket. She's the popcorn, and then Elizabeth Banks is the bonbons, and Rachel Weisz is fucking
black
hot tea or
licorice.
something.
Licorice,
And I don't know, it's just one of those movies that you just sit there and I don't overthink it, and you guys, it's your job to overthink it. And I don't blame you, but you're wrong.
We get paid. We get paid to overthink it.
Okay, so hear me out on this. This is my big thing about this movie, right? So
Should we get the director in here so we can just say it to his face?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, okay, all right.
Let's do that. Let's do that. All right. So, Drinking with the Director is brought to us by Last Call, and we travel back in time here because we're recording this prior to the beer release, which is supposed to be Saturday, assuming there's no bomb threat.
I'm so confused. The timeline is just spinning around my head.
But you're listening to it afterwards, so hopefully you were all there.
Well, I have a premonition that Scotch Beck is going to be naked jumping through a table. So that's my
Oh,
premonition.
my
We'll see if
goodness.
that,
Oh my God, did that
see,
happen?
hopefully that happened.
It totally happened.
Oh man. So we don't know how it went, but we're pretty excited about it coming up right now.
This reminds me of, do you guys ever watch that show Pete and Pete on Nickelodeon?
I remember it's a couple
back in the
redhead
day.
kids.
So they have an episode of that where they go to time travel, and they talk about it the whole episode, how about they're going to time travel, and it ends up being it's just daylight savings time, and every year at daylight savings time at when the clock springs back, they get to live the same hour twice. And so they I don't know. Anyways.
Well, I just have Scotch Beck naked in my head like all the time. I mean, maybe it's not even a premonition. Maybe it's just me, just normal thinking.
So I guess that's what it is. I'm just
Welcome to
thinking
the
like
club.
at daylight savings time, I just want to get Scotch Beck naked, and then we'll just run the clock back, and then just live that same
That's
hour.
the
again.
tenant I want to watch.
Get Nolan on the phone.
All right. So we're drinking with the director. It's Last Call. This is our Last Call drinking with the director section. What are you all drinking? Brad, what are you drinking?
Dying breed.
We're all drinking the same.
So unfortunately, we're all drinking Dying Breed. We still love all of our Last Call brewing beers, but this is pretty fucking good.
But I want to
It's
make a
only
comment.
because we're tapped out here.
Yeah, we just don't have
at
any
Nate's
Last Call
Complex.
beers yet.
Yeah.
I want to make a comment though, because in our bonus pod that we put out this last Wednesday, Jake Stevens was on talking about, and he made it a point to talk about the fact that, you know what, these breweries in Oakdale, they kind of have it's like a community where they're all looking out for each other. I mean, he advertised both of them. He said, hey, you come to Oakdale, you've got Dying Breed with their spot with the great music stage and all that stuff. You've got Grains of Virtue. So we always want to promote all of those local beers. I mean, we're drinking Blaker sometimes, we're drinking Dust Bowl, just supporting the local beer scene in the Valley. That's what we're all about. So we are drinking Dying Breed right now. It's called Made in the IPA. I've had it before on the pod. It's a delicious West Coast IPA.
It is good, and
It's really good.
It's got like a what is that? A yak?
Yak.
This is a Highland
Buffalo?
steer. I think
There's
is
like
what-
some sort of bovine animal with a hat on the front of it. That's fucking.
It's a
really
cow.
cool
It's
looking.
a Highland cow. I think is what it's actually called.
It's a
So
long-haired cow. It's got dreadlocks.
American
it's
flag
very-
in the background.
it's on lots of their cans and
very
in some very
fashion-forward.
funny, clever ways. And it's it's their official logo. So Dying Breed makes some great brews. They also have some great music scene.
So after you go to Last Call, head over to Dying Breed and get one of their beers too.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. If you're stop by Dying Breed early and then head over to Last Call. So I mean, just make sure you make it.
Hit them all.
Wait. Why are we trying to promote that?
Yeah. No, just tell them to walk, Brad. Tell them to walk in the middle of the road.
Still, have a drink at like 2 or 3 and head over,
Yeah.
Hit them
Last
both
Call.
up. Yeah, don't walk. It's a
Dying
decent
Breed
walk.
opens at 8 a.m. Just go down there, pound a beer, go to work for a half an hour.
It's
Say you don't
Tuesday.
feel
It's
good.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Head over there at 4.
I was thinking we were promoting the event again. It's like, no, we've already done that.
No, we can't promote
Time
it
is
anymore.
a
It's already
flat
happened.
So no
What are we
longer
gonna
promote
do?
it.
Yeah.
BVK, but you know what? You probably can still get your hands on some BVK IPA.
Yeah. If
Not
you want to
quite
head out to
so
Last Call, they definitely have some cans left. I
Maybe
think.
we sold out.
Yeah, don't
Could've
you remember
sold
the other
them all.
night we sold out? Yeah, you remember that?
I
when that happened?
I don't remember. I've lost my short-term memory.
Some anonymous benefactor came in and said, I want all of them.
All right.
Oh shit!
So
How sick would that be? Let's do that, even if we can't do it. Just go in and pretend like you're gonna do it. Just be like, "Can I use the bathroom before I pay for all of the beer?" And then just take off.
All right, so we're drinking with Adam Brooks, and Adam Brooks is not what I would call a particularly well-known director. So he's directed.
The shallow IMDb.
He has
Shallow.
listed 8 things, movies that mostly I haven't seen, a few of them.
But he wrote this too, right?
He wrote this. Okay, so he has a
wrote it.
little better writing credits, but he has like a bunch of episodes of, or a couple episodes of Girlfriend's Guide to Divorce, a few of Mozart in the Jungle, some Imposters, so some TV stuff. But this is the only movie that I would say is like particularly notable that he's directed.
So can we ask him first? Like, did you write anything for How I Met Your Mother? Because that's basically what this movie is, right?
Oh man, I mean, I think How I Met Your Mother is both better and worse.
I've never watched it.
It's a really funny
Heard it's
show,
good.
but it is really funny. But it's not. The ending might be worse.
I thought Ryan Reynolds was in it, and then he was not. He was in like
No.
Two Guys in a Pizza Place or something like that. You know that show?
Okay.
Was he?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. Okay, so he wrote French Kiss, which is a kind of a classic old one with Kevin Kline. He wrote this one, definitely maybe. He wrote Practical Magic, Wimbledon, which is kind of a fun little rom-com. So he has a few others, but he's definitely not somebody that's like burning it up. So we should pick his brain a little bit, but try to be nice.
When I looked at the IMDb and the immortal words of Nate Diaz, I said, "I'm not surprised, motherfucker," because it was short and I just didn't see like enough clever. The plot device was clever, but just the actual movie itself didn't do it for me. I already mentioned that. But my question to him, and I guess I'm going to be a little mean, how does it feel to be carried by a cute plot and decent acting? Because I think that's all it had going for it: a cute plot, decent acting.
Cold, dude.
And
That's
other than
tough,
that,
man.
just the movie's just there's no magic to it. It's just never like I want a good soundtrack. I want something that's like that's making me feel some moments, and just nothing ever really. It was every time he was with the daughter, I kind of enjoyed it. But then when we would go back to his reality, it was just like I don't know. It's oh yeah, we brought Bill Clinton into it. Oh cool. We've got these 3 different women. They all got their own little quirks. Oh cool. I don't know.
This guy loves Bill Clinton so much he doesn't know who Nirvana is.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
What the
wild.
fuck is that?
The
Wild.
Nirvana thing I thought was poorly played.
Are they saying that she's so cool she knows about Nirvana way before everybody else? Because they're listening to fucking Nevermind. It's not like
Nevermind came out in 91. This is the spring of 92 because it's the primary season.
And
Yeah, so it
and
would've
he
been
has
pretty
not
new,
heard
dude.
it ever.
I mean, he's never heard the song. He loves Bill Clinton that much.
I mean, I don't. Yeah, I'm trying to remember how quickly though that like it burned it up. I mean, I know it was quick, but I
He's
mean,
an early Sarah McLachlan fan. It's the early work.
so here I got a couple questions then as a slight retort, Brad. So so you didn't like the book piece. So like that's one of the things that I consistently like. If I'm
I thought you meant there was a book. This was
the book.
adapted from.
You didn't
came
read
from a
definitely
book.
maybe the book. So you didn't like the sort of like. So for me, that might be my favorite piece of the plot. That might be part of the plot device.
It made me hate him when I realized how long he had been holding on to that book. Because if she got into an accident or anything like that, like, and she never got to see the
God.
fact that she had that
The
he,
only reason was
I never
that
even
the
thought of that
boyfriend, the
angle.
boyfriend showed up. He was living with him, but like the importance of that book, and he just. I thought he was gonna leave it. I was like, leave the book on
Yeah.
the fucking coffee table.
yeah,
You
and
pussy.
just let that be like her, like,
Yes.
oh, and she just has to react. to it.
Yeah.
That makes the movie
Leave it.
a bunch better.
So this is exactly
You
what I
guys
was
get
gonna bring
married.
up.
You marry the right person if you leave it there. She comes running to you.
Yes.
So this is exactly what I was going to bring up. So he doesn't think that book's going to trump douchey fucking long-haired dude
That's what I'm
upstairs.
saying.
Then he leaves, takes it with him so that, and this is what I was going to ask the director about earlier. You're going to take that with you and save it until it fucking can serve you? It's not
Right.
about giving
Right.
her an
That's what I'm
awesome
saying.
gift.
That's
It's
what I'm
about him getting something from
Yes.
it. And he's telling the daughter, "Oh yeah, and I hung on to this thing the whole time while I was married to your mom
'Cause it was part
just
of
in
her.
case
It was part
I
of her.
get to bone the redhead again." You know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck?
if he never gets divorced, does he? If he doesn't get served
He
papers,
never
does he ever
gives
give
her the book. No, because he's a dickhead. Because it doesn't serve him to give her the book. He was only trying to get the book to bone her.
When he's like
Let's
75,
all look at Nate real quick.
and
Elizabeth
Elizabeth
does James
Banks.
look crushed?
I never thought of it quite that way. So I get that comment, and I think that's sort of right.
If he was getting her the book for anything other than to bone her, he gives her the book right there when he goes to the apartment and he found it. But he takes it with him because he's like, oh, she's got a boyfriend. I might not be able to bone her with my book that I got her. So I'm going to hang on to it for 15 years.
So he has a response, right? Now might not buy it, but his response is like, I held on to it because like I was trying to hold on to you, and I wasn't really like conscious about this. So
It's her dead dad's book.
Still 100%.
God, dude.
Still selfish.
I totally agree. I'm not saying it's not selfish. I think maybe my perspective on this though is like lots of people do things that are selfish. And they don't do them because they're like terrible people. Just people kind of do things, right? Like I guess a lot of times I see things like this in movies and I'm like, yeah, like it's not the way that we would all want to like act if we could like look at it from the outside looking in and be like, oh, the perfect principled person would do this thing and that thing, looking at it. But like people are wrapped up in like emotions and not clear thinking and a lot of different things going on. And I'm not saying like that excuses it. Nor am I saying like it justifies it. I guess I'm just saying like for me, a lot of times things that people do that are sort of shitty come across to me as things that people do because they're real, like they're really what people do sometimes.
And they get glossed over in rom-coms, and I'll give you that. And I will give Adam Brooks credit for at least letting Isla Fisher be pissed and sad about the fact and be like, fuck you, you need to leave.
At least
you
they
held on to
didn't
this.
let
Like,
him
she cried,
immediately
she
get
had
her
her
back.
Right, she had her moment. You realize it was a big deal to her. But like any rom-com, they would have glossed it over, and a lot of them would have taken the approach like, oh my God, you got me the book. It's my dad's.
Exactly.
Like, let's
Now
get
I
married
love you
and have
again.
a baby. Yeah.
But bro, she's still been looking for like the past 10 or 11 or 12 years.
So
or how many
well,
years?
it's 10 years from the last time he was going to drop the book off. It's
Exactly
at least 10
my
years
point.
since then.
She's still been looking
It's like 20
feverishly for
years.
this book, dude. And she's like, oh, you had it the whole time? And it's not like the bullshit answer is, I wanted to keep a piece of you because it was in a box, still wrapped. It's not like he had it out and was like snuggling it. Yeah, exactly.
No, and I definitely was struck this time by the point that it had been that long. Like, I don't think I had thought very hard about that in previous watches. And I was like, whoa, that is a really long time to, because I was like, wow, would she really be that mad? But I was like, had it in my head that it was like 2 years or something.
I didn't write an alternate ending
12.
like this, but I mean, there's an alternate ending where he goes and finds out that, oh no, she burned up in a fire, and he's like, oh fuck.
That's how she goes, bro?
He's got a book, and he's just like, oh shit, what do I do
Her
with
hair
this book
started
now?
a fire.
I guess she'll never know.
I'll give it to her secretary.
Who do you guys like better, the brunette with horn rim glasses or Isla Fisher in this movie? I know, and I mean just like the character, not like best looking. I'm saying just like as
I like
far
Isla
as
Fisher more.
Right, me too.
Yeah, I think I do too, although
Because
Yeah,
they're both
I
pretty
don't know.
great.
Rachel
Yeah,
Weisz
Rachel
keeps
Weisz-
going back to the professor who cheats on him with sophomores.
But she's got this.
Two
She's got this
sophomores
whole
over
like
and
kind of
over.
like holistic look at
She
the
does.
world and,
Yeah.
and the way she kind of operates. I mean,
I like the way that. Yeah, I like Rachel Weisz's character too. Though.
and since we're there, right? Like, actually, my moment this time around where I was like, "This is fucking makes no sense," and is actually exactly not the right way that someone should react, was the fact that he like gives her the ultimatum when she brings the story. And he's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I agree.
His
Don't
reaction,
release the
his
story.
reaction was like, because he says like, and he really did this, and she's like, yeah, it's like uncontrovertible, and he buys that, and then he's like, you can't do this, and I was like,
And then she like
this is
takes it-
totally fucking unethical. Like, you're supposed to be this ethical
Right.
dude, and
Yeah.
like, you should be like, I'm going to resign from the campaign.
Because you know what?
he throws his noodles at the TV
I
when
totally
Bill Clinton
agree.
was cheating.
Yeah, exactly. It's not only that it's not only even from it's a character inconsistency. Like, it doesn't fit with any other thing.
It does though, because exactly the same thing about not giving her the book. He wasn't
Yeah.
going to get anything out of
It's the
it.
same
He doesn't
thing.
want her to write the story because he's not going to get anything out of it.
100%.
Yeah, that may be.
You know
true.
what I'm saying? He's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
super selfish.
Yeah. I agree with you, Nate. That's another part that I noticed too with
But
that moment.
And she and then like they pile on. Like, I thought for a moment like maybe okay, well, we'll be allowed to just believe that he was kind of acting like a douche. But then like multiple people, like the daughter is like, well, you know, she was like she screwed you over, and I was like, the daughter would think that, like, and then you know, like, so
And Rachel Weisz later says like,
I messed
screwed
up, and
Yeah.
I'm like, dude,
No.
she should be like, fuck you, like, I'm doing
Yeah.
my job here, you know, like, and the other and then the friend is like, you really messed up, dude, which is like a terrible scene.
Oh,
that was so weird.
His
I'm
business partner or whatever.
Yeah,
That's so
I'm like,
weird.
your friend is mad at you because you had a girlfriend who was a reporter, and it wasn't like he gave special access. That we never get the impression that like he leaked something. She found this story totally separately. So I don't know, that whole part of it. This time around especially, but I think it bothered me in previous watches, but this time more than that. I was like, oh, this would not be the way anyone interpreted this.
How about when he looks totally normal and she's like, look at you, you're a mess. Like how dare you?
His tie is untied.
It's like slightly untied and askew, and she's like, look at you, look at your life. He's like, fuck, I live in the same apartment. Like, I don't know what you want me to do. Yeah. I thought that was intense.
Gotta love the presence of cigarettes in this. Can we talk about cigarettes?
That's
It's been a long time to see cigarettes so heavily.
And that's
in a movie.
It's a late cigarette movie because it's
Late,
2006. What is it? 2000. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's a super late cigarette movie.
And I actually do think that like a really great early scene is the smoking bet, where they stand outside and kind of have a conversation while they're smoking, and like that works for me.
Isla Fisher's correct.
The first time he went in to buy cigarettes, I'm like, no, he's buying cigarettes for someone else. Reynolds doesn't smoke cigarettes.
not with
I don't want to see this.
Just ruined. It ruined all your Ryan Reynolds.
All my thoughts, all my Reynolds thoughts.
So what else? What do you guys want to? What are you guys going to pick on the director about now?
So Adam's still here.
Is there more?
He's still here.
He didn't walk out crying.
He hasn't
Hanging
left
out
yet.
by the fire?
He's kind of backing away slowly, but he's still in the room.
There's some stuff, and a lot of it has to do with what I think is like kind of a boring character almost from Reynolds. Not that his acting is bad, like I was talking about earlier. I think he's fine, but I don't know. It's a little weird. Everything's just a little off.
I just wish, because at the heart of it is the relationship between the father and daughter, and it just, because maybe it's because of Reynolds' shtick and his like personality, it always stays a little like too light, and then they try and make it serious at the end, and they make him have this moment when not enough of the serious moments have happened throughout the movie between him and his daughter. Like at the end is when the tears come, but if it's really supposed to be this connection of him and his daughter, that they kind of like jam that, they ram it home at the end. And I wonder why he didn't do more of it, because that's at the heart of it. That's why I feel like that's why he doesn't spend so much time showing like the emotion between him and Elizabeth Banks, because they just they show them talking off to the side, about, you're guessing it's about the divorce or whatever. And neither of them are as overly emotional after just going through this entire movie of seeing this love story between the two of them and the other women. And then, and then you're waiting for the moment between him and the daughter, but you haven't seen it at all, that emotion through the entire movie. So if you're going to make it serious between him and the daughter, make it serious. Or if you're going to make it kind of lovey-dovey, then do it all the way and make it more about him and Elizabeth Banks. I feel like it's one or the other.
My wife's comment to this was, does he just propose to every girl he ever meets?
Yeah.
That's another thing too. Yeah.
There's a lot of rings.
I don't appreciate I haven't seen this woman in however many years, and the first time I go meet her, I'm going to bring my daughter. Like, that's a weird part too. Like, just introducing your kid to potential suitors.
They try and make Abigail Breslin seem like extra mature for her age. And so, I mean, they probably make you feel like she can kind of put him in that situation and like play that, and he's just going to like roll with it. I like Abigail Breslin, and I mean, this was, I don't know when Little Miss Sunshine was made.
I think it's right before.
It's close.
Yeah.
She was definitely younger than here, right?
I mean, doesn't Isla Fisher just be like, it's kind of creepy. Like, wait, this dude just shows up at my door with his daughter. Like, I haven't seen him for this long, and it's like he's got his 10-year-old daughter with him. Like, what the fuck is going on here? This is.
Yeah, I mean, yes and no though. Like, if you believe that he's like the one that kind of got away too. 10 years, people go over decades. I mean, to not talk to somebody for 10 years but you've been thinking about them, you've been kind of feeling like they were the person, and they're not gone. Like, you might be pretty psyched, right? If that was somebody that you thought got away.
I mean, I don't think your ex-wife, who you seem to have a decent relationship with, is going to be too stoked about that. Like,
but you can't think about that.
But I agree with that. But I mean, yes, yeah, but he probably doesn't care, on some level. And B, like,
well, he definitely doesn't care about Elizabeth Banks. That's established throughout the movie.
But I'm saying, like, this is again, like, I guess I'd say, a lot of times I look at this and I go, yeah, like if you want to like give somebody a playbook for how they should behave all the time, then yeah, we might say it wouldn't. But people do this. I mean, someone would do that, right? Like, and I wouldn't like look at somebody that did that and say, well, you're just like beyond repair. Like you're a terrible person. You make a weird choice. Like so. I think that if I was going to go down that road, what I would say is, I don't think the director's making the choices to make the character complicated. It's a little bit these sort of choices that are a little questionable. The critique for me is that like they're just kind of careless. They're not like I'm gonna make the person a little more real at the expense of making them likable. But I kind of often see those things, and especially as I get older, like I watch movies, even the ones that sometimes make people carelessly do things that I think are either shitty or just sort of weird. And I'm like, yeah, but like, the longer I live, man, the more I see people do weird and shitty things that I like, the people that I like, people that I know, people that I think used to be different, people that I think, I mean, like.
Well, it makes you understanding of some things and then less understanding of other things. And that's just kind of like what we've talked about in this pod multiple times is like, as you get older, your view of things change, and our view of different rom-com things change, and then other dramas, they change. And so, I mean, I think that applies to, anything.
We get older. They stay the same age.
Elizabeth Banks, the same age.
So what? Should we send this dude home?
Elizabeth Banks. I mean, seriously though, this movie's 2008.
Yeah,
we're in 2022. Elizabeth Banks looks exactly the same.
And they still try and make you think she's a freak, like she was in 40 Year Old.
And honestly, Isla Fisher too looks exactly the same.
Yeah, she does.
Rachel Weisz, same.
Yep, true.
Let's send it. We've done enough damage here. We've hurt his feelings and probably mine, really, frankly. So,
bye, Adam.
Adam, thanks for coming by. We're I'm here for you. I'm still in on your next project. I'm not sure I convinced the Bevs guys though.
Bye.
All right, we're back for Snag, Body Bag. So. First up, we want to know what from this movie do you want it pretty bad, but you don't want to necessarily keep it around forever.
I have an easy answer to this question, and it's Nate's second favorite beer of all time. Nate, what beer is that?
Dos Equis Lager.
Dos Equis Lager makes 47 appearances in this movie.
Does it really?
Oh my God!
I literally
there's
didn't
a
know this. Maybe that's why I love
My
it.
wife was pissed. So apparently, if you live in New York or Washington or wherever they are in 1992, you drink nothing but Mexican beer, because he's drinking Dos Equis Lager almost through the entire movie. Then he moves to Pacifico, and she's having a Corona. And
I saw the Pacifico and Corona. I don't remember seeing the Dos Equis.
Dude, and not only that, a lot of the storefronts, big Dos Equis. I almost felt like Dos Equis was a sponsor of this movie, and I kept pointing it out over and over and over again to where my wife got annoyed at me.
Stop talking about Dos Equis.
But
you're drinking IP.
But yeah, that's what I'm shagging from this movie. It just made me think of Nate every single time that somebody was holding that green Dos Equis with the 2 X's on it.
I'm gonna shag. Okay, I know what I'm gonna snag. Okay, so I'm gonna shag Kevin Kline. This made me remember like that I really like Kevin Kline as an actor, and he's just a great actor. His part is great, and I feel like could have given even maybe a little bit more to the movie. I just thought it was a unique character. I feel like some tears even came up when he's in the hospital bed, almost when he's like talking about like, oh, you actually like love him, and him kind of realizing that he kind of fucked up a little bit, but he can't really help himself. And I just really dug Kevin Kline, seeing him in the movie. He was kind of like a breath of fresh air, surrounded by such the acting chops of a young Ryan Reynolds. How do you but yeah, Kevin Kline. That was my shag.
My question on that right now is, did all of you in college, did you have, was there the rumors of the professor that might be like banging
definitely
freshmen and sophomores? You never heard that?
Definitely
Okay, so
not.
at my school, definitely there was at least 2 professors I knew of that were allegedly getting down with the undergrads.
Not that I remember, actually, no.
High school.
Oh, well, high school. That's even sketchier.
We all know those stories, Scotch.
But I knew a female professor. She was pretty young, and she was like just out of college, and she was teaching a class. And I know that she was getting down with the baseball player. So
all right,
yeah. goes both ways, guys.
There you go.
Guys, girls, whoever.
Don't be sexist about your inappropriate relationships.
So my shag is just the clever plot structure. It's a very interesting way to tell the tale, to tell it as like, okay, I'm going to make it a mystery for my daughter to try to solve. Even as inappropriate as it ends up, the fact that, it's a cool little way to keep you guessing of, oh, who is he going to end up with? And
Did you guess it, Brad?
I did not. No.
Neither did I.
I would say, I think like you, I kind of assumed it was going to be April. Seemed like the one that's kind of like going towards.
Yep.
I was surprised that Elizabeth Banks was like the one, because it was just like she kind of just gets the short shaft the entire time, and then it's like, oh, I was with her for 10 years and had a child.
She literally gets the shaft from the roommate.
And she does not get the shaft from the other girl.
Yeah. No, she does not.
So yeah, that's my clever plot structure. I like it. I like a movie that can present something that maybe is an old style of a movie, a romantic comedy, and do it in kind of a fresh new way. And kind of that's what it had going for it. So I think, and I could be transporting, or like I could be misremembering, but I think that this was the first time, the opening of this movie was the first time I ever saw like Bluetooth earbuds.
Oh yeah, they're sick.
I didn't even think they were. I didn't know they were a thing. Like this was before AirPods and any of that. And these are particularly like
Sleek.
tiny and sleek. And ever since I've kind of like fantasized about owning a pair. And you can buy them for like $40 now, and I still don't own a pair. So I don't know how.
You really don't?
No, not like that. Like the ones that go and disappear in your ear. Like I have the like AirPods, which I hate the way they stick out. Like
you think so?
Yeah, it's fucking stupid.
I think they look very sophisticated.
I think they look stupid.
I'll tell you, teachers hate them. Teachers hate them.
And I have a pair, and I hate them.
Really?
The AirPods. I mean,
do
I
you
hate the
feel
way
like
they
don't?
look.
Do you feel like they don't fit your ear holes?
Yeah, my
right?
ear holes. I have giant. You and I have the same ears. I have this one ear that sticks way out, and I have relatively what people believe
Are
to
you
be
offended
big
when he
ears.
says that?
No, we've talked about it.
But I have what I believe to be. But in fact, I think I have quite dainty ear holes.
So high crack, dainty.
So
ear
that's
and a long butt crack.
He's got a long butt crack. I have a normal size butt crack, but my ears are very similar to Nate's, that they stick out, and my ear holes are smaller than the average bear, and it really messes with my ear play game.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
So anyway, the first time I ever saw this, I remember kind of being like, why don't I have those, and why don't I just walk around all the time?
by ear play game. You mean like hearing game?
Nah, bro.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I got you.
So I'm gonna shag like walking around with tiny little earbuds and listening to like a soundtrack of your life.
Have you done that?
No, and I want to do it more. One of my questions was like, why do we not walk around and like listen to music that like makes our life better all the time?
My wife was having surgery during COVID, and I put in my earbuds and walked around Berkeley for like 3 hours while she was having surgery, because they wouldn't let me sit in the hospital or do anything in the hospital. I was either sit in the car or walk around. I put the earbuds in and walked around with a great soundtrack. It was super fun. Took a bunch of pictures of the college and stuff. It was a great time.
Can
all
you
by
share
myself.
any like a couple artists that you listen to?
Oh, a couple artists
yeah.
that I listened to. I was listening to a band called Pine Grove. I was listening to this guy Field Medic that I was talking to Scotch about today, that looks like a homeless kid that makes some really dope folk music.
You never went to like a podcast? It was music the entire time?
It was music the entire time. Delta Sleep.
We should do that more. Ryan Reynolds
Delta
shows you
Sleep.
how good that looks.
Delta Sleep's a British band, like a British math rock band that has some super good melodies.
Did you just say math rock?
Yeah.
Is that
Right,
like
that's the thing.
It's
I've never heard of that. Are we talking like division and
It's different than
multiplication, or?
Central Valley meth rock.
We're talking like Tool, like people that they'll switch different types of rhythms,
different time signatures,
Yeah.
like cool like guitar, like finger tapping and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's not just like all like lyrics about derivatives and integrals. Okay, cool. All right. So,
It's not about math. Although that sounds dope, dude. They're a math rock band.
cool.
You should hear their fucking Pythagorean theorem song.
That's what I'm
It's
saying,
sick as
bro.
fuck.
Hypotenuse. A.
Cosine tan.
All right.
Well, let me get this out of the way. I'm going to snag Ryan Reynolds. I know that Zach's not going to love that,
Pandering.
but I really dig Ryan Reynolds. It's just as a human being, he seems like a good dude. Like I don't know too much about like if he's got any major controversies in his life. I know
Brad, he's Canadian.
He got married on a plantation. You know, that was the big issue that I saw when I kind of tried to like look up a little bit.
That's really an issue?
Yeah,
He got married on a plantation in South
Can't do
Carolina.
that.
That's just which wasn't the best.
That he didn't own or have anything to do with. He got married there.
I don't even think it matters. I just think it's not.
It's just a bad look.
It's used
bad
for
look.
it's used for
A bunch of
weddings.
rich celebrities.
I agree.
Like,
I
oh
agree
yeah,
they
let's
should-
do the plantation wedding. Like,
Yeah, they probably should have thought about that a little harder.
so, but yeah, so he just seems like a good dude, like somebody you'd want to hang with. He's created a mobile company that seems like it tries to like keep low rates to make it accessible to people. And I don't know,
He used
got
to-
his gin that he slings, and
He used to
seems like a good
date
dude.
God.
Yeah, he dated Alanis Morissette. I mean,
Oh
he's-
yeah, that's
I didn't know he's dated Sandra Bullock. Was married to ScarJo. Like he's a lot
Those
of things.
seem
going
like
on.
some
He was
really
married to
cool,
ScarJo?
some
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
cool ladies
For like 48 hours.
okay. Cool. I want to snag. I'm going to snag the relationship between he and Isla Fisher. So like, I actually really. I know you guys sort of have a hard time with it, and for you guys, I know some of it is the problem of it is like the way that it wraps up sort of feels forced. But I actually really like the interactions early, like some of the stuff.
Agreed.
Their kind of banter when they're first in the, you know, she's the sort of like, you know, the copy girl, and that stuff feels authentic and kind of fun. And then to me, right, even though, you know, there's sort of questionable or maybe just downright problematic ethics, again, like the whole interaction where they go back to the apartment and she makes the comment like, I'm glad we don't have to worry about any of this attraction stuff, and then they kiss and they kind of, you know, immediately pull back. Like that stuff all felt like kind of real and authentic, and to me, like the kind of thing that made that relationship, even though later there's some like timeline issues and things that make you, you know, question whether or not it would go down that way, or, you know, and maybe me less than you. The early part of this made me believe that like they would both hold on to each other for a really long time.
See, that I was just going to ask that. That's the big question here. Is I feel like she's got enough spirit in her that he's kind of a boring dude. Like I feel like she's just going to kind of like get bored with him.
Well, they don't spend enough time to make you feel like the connection that they had in the beginning.
Does she see his abs at any point? Because we don't see it as a
No.
viewer.
No.
Because I'm saying, like, if she sees the abs, then that's why she sticks around and she's still into it. But if she never sees the abs, I'm not sure she sticks around, right, guys?
100%.
It's all,
I'm thinking deeper than that.
He's thinking 8.
You're thinking deeper than ab deep?
8.
I don't know.
I don't know if it gets deeper than ab
in
deep.
the dickle region.
If she gets on those abs, I mean, who knows
dick,
what
like
happens?
lower.
the fucking dick root?
I said dickle. I said
So
dickle.
you think they stay together? Like you think they're going to have a healthy, happy relationship?
I'm not necessarily saying that. I'm not even invested in that. For me, it's more about the fact that like, for me, the love story isn't about like the long-term happy ending. It's more that like it, and again, for me, this is part of why I like the complication of it. It's that I believe that these two people didn't like stop thinking about each other over a really long period of time, and that they came back to each other even after a decade.
But they
still
never really
feel-
spent that much time together.
Did they ever hook
Well,
up?
but okay, so one of the things that I think is important that I really love as a device is that he talks about the fact they wrote to each other a lot. And I think that that's something that, like, you know, is pretty powerful over a period of time. If you write a lot of letters, a lot of things with people, a lot of emails with somebody or whatever, right, you can really, really feel like connected and like you know somebody even if you're not there.
And it
I
was
would-
like pre-social media, right? Or like
Yeah,
beginning of it.
I mean, it's
they talk about the beginning of internet. So,
They had MySpace pages.
but they're talking about writing letters.
yeah, but they're talking about writing letters.
yeah,
Yeah,
they're
exactly.
writing letters, postcards. And stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Well, my snag are the women in the movie that carry old Reynolds on their shoulders, including old little Breslin. Banks is barely in it, so but I'll group her in there. But I like the grouping of the women in this movie. Young Abigail Breslin, who is amazing in Little Miss Sunshine. If you haven't seen it, go see it. That's her coming out party. She's great in it.
I just watched the Zombieland, and she's good in that too.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah,
solid.
she's a great actor, and I'm stepping on my streaming recommendation as far as Little Miss Sunshine. But yeah, the women, Isla Fisher surprised me. Not that I didn't think that she had like chops, because I've only seen her in Wedding Crashers and oh my gosh,
Has she been in anything else? I was thinking about that earlier. I was because not to step on you, Nick, but I have literally the exact same thing. I said, Isla Fisher, why is she not a bigger star? Like what? I feel like she's great in this and Wedding Crashers. Is she in anything else that she bombs in? Or
She was recently in that movie where the blonde girl from who's the three dudes you love?
Workaholics.
Workaholics. The blonde chick
Yeah,
from
yeah,
Workaholics,
yeah.
and she's like
One
the
that
fairy
shits
godmother. And
Uh-huh.
Isla Fisher's like a mom that's kind of like she thought she was gonna have a fairy godmother, and then like she's like, and now that she's like way beyond being like a girl, she has this fairy godmother that comes and helps her.
Dude, I haven't seen that.
It's silly. It's kind of fun.
What's
This-
the Andy Samberg movie where he's like stunt, not a stunt man, but he's like
Hot Rod. Yeah, she's in Hot Rod.
Okay, so sorry, she's in Hot Rod. I mean,
Oh,
it's
okay.
a cheesy, corny thing, but I mean,
I haven't seen that.
it's not like she's like great, and it's supposed to be corny. But anyways, Isla Fisher surprises me in it, and
She spends her time hanging out with Sacha Baron Cohen,
yeah,
just having fun.
Yeah, she's married to Borat, which is pretty fucking wild.
It
But
is.
I think she's great in this
Yeah.
movie, and I think she's great in Wedding Crashers, and it surprises me that she's not in more shit.
I know, I 100% agree. So that was my snag, the women of definitely maybe.
And like I said, I just very quickly piggyback with why is Isla Fisher not a bigger star? And the daughter totally, and I already talked about it, when she snuggles into those pillows and is like, hang on a second, Dad. That shit made me think of my daughter, and that's my snag.
A solid daughter moment. There you go.
All right, so what are we body bagging, guys? Just let's try to keep it to one or two, okay?
I mean, mine's really just I don't like the fact that they don't get into the divorce. They kind of just like wave it off like it's no big deal. He says like she makes the comment early that like, oh, I'm going to like hold you back or whatever. But when they get back together, he's not doing anything special. He's already fucked up his political career, and he's just kind of like hanging out. So what happened between them? Like, they seem like they really liked each other when they re-met each other. So they have a kid, 10 years. Is she just like, he's just a piece of shit? I mean, like, what really happened here? He says, oh, I was working a bunch and like I just kind of ignored or whatever. I hated my job. So he just became an asshole? Is that what it was?
Well, they're just saying like, you don't know you're going to be part of the 47% that, your marriage doesn't work out. And they just gloss over all that. They just go over.
No explanations.
No.
Yeah, I wanted more explanation because, I mean, obviously they're involving the daughter. I mean, and they're trying to keep somewhat of a decent relationship.
Mm-hmm. For like a really pro-feminine movie, I feel like they spend a lot of they don't really explain anything, and it kind of just makes Elizabeth Banks' character seem like a bitch the whole time.
Yeah,
right?
it makes it seem like it was probably her fault.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, I
Exactly.
want to know a little bit more detail here. Like he's kind of a piece of shit. He's in a shitty job. He's depressed. Like, is he on pills? Like, what's going on here?
But he's the main character, so we have to side with him.
Yeah, so that's my body bag.
What do you got, Nikki?
Same as Brad, just the end, as far as just really not committing to one thing, to where by the end they're trying to make you believe that it's the father and daughter that you really need to care about, and because of the acting of Breslin, you care for a split second. Outside of that, I just end up not caring as much thanks to Reynolds' acting.
Somehow I like the ending, but my body bag is going to be, and I talked about it earlier, and it's just inexcusable. So Ryan Reynolds in 1992, correct, Brad?
That's the election season. Yeah, spring.
So January 11th, 1992. Do you guys know what the number one song is in the United States of America?
Smells Like Teen Spirit, and it's playing everywhere.
Every fucking where. And this guy is supposed to be a human being that's like, who is this? You're so cool and alternative. Who is this cool band?
And he likes it, and he's supposed to like it. So he already likes the type of music.
Yeah.
He likes when it comes on. Who is this?
That single hit in like September of 91, I believe.
And it went,
So
yeah, it was
September
immediately.
24th, 1991, the album was released. And by January 11th, 1992, so 5 months later, it was the
Yeah, and
the biggest album in the
And I vividly remember my cousin at Christmas that year. In Christmas '91, she showed me the album and played it for me, and I it was totally
Dude.
just a transformational moment.
I had the
and
tape,
by then it was
bro. It was the tape, right? Had to be a tape.
yeah, it's got to be.
There's no way she bought a record, but yeah, it had to be a.
I mean, there
like a
were
cassette.
CDs by then.
No, not in 91, bro.
Yeah, 91 CD. I mean, people had CDs, but like
it
a
was-
kid's not going to have it. But I mean, a lot of adults had CD players at that point.
Really? In 91?
Yeah. I have somewhere the Nevermind CD. I bought it around that time.
When did Hootie and the Blowfish come out?
No, that's probably
93,
mid-90s,
4,
yeah.
5, something like that.
That was the first CD I had.
Okay.
94. Let her cry.
I'm going to body bag. I said it earlier, but I really hate the way that the Summer Hartley, storyline, the Rachel Weisz, I don't like the way that ends. Like there's lots of ways to end it. And in fact, in some ways, right, they give it to you. They tell you she's still in love with the professor.
Yeah.
Right. And so why on earth did they not have her like fall back in with him in some way, or just decide that like she just can't do the thing, whatever. Right. There's so many other ways that would have been less stupid and like forced and completely unrealistic. So I really hate that they set it up that way, because I think it's just not consistent with his character. And
I thought it was right in character. His fucking selfish asshole.
But the dude dies, and so it's like she's like, "Hey, dude's dead. Like
I can
focus on you." And he's like, "No, we know how this is going to go."
Yeah, which also I didn't like that either.
What, she's going to go like hump his grave or something? Like what's going on here? Like what is she worried about?
She's still got his ab strap on.
Is it going to be like a MacGruber, but like the woman version?
She's ghosting it up in the cemetery. Beautiful. Oh man.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
What you got, Scott?
I got a body bag.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I like the body bag me. And listening to you guys talk about this movie, so there's something that I realized about myself that
Part of me broke.
let me get a little real. So like honestly, most of my life listening to music, I've been very guilty of listening to a song and not listening to the words.
Oh, that's wild.
And
Oh, yeah, that's
I'm,
me.
I'm a very melodic listener.
Yep.
I'll hear a song that's fucking beautiful. Sufjan Stevens has this amazing song about John Wayne Gacy.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
dude.
Yeah.
is the fucking most beautiful song you've ever fucking heard, but it's about John Wayne Gacy.
Scott's speaking my language right now.
Okay.
Radiohead for me. I know the lyrics to like 3 Radiohead songs, but I love so many of them.
Right. And it's like
You gotta listen to the song he's
and-
talking about.
Yeah, and so you'll say, dude, check out this fucking song. The song's amazing, and not really know what you're listening to because I don't listen to the lyrics as closely as a lot of people do. And I feel that way about this movie. I think I just watched this movie and enjoyed it, but didn't really think about it.
Which it's okay.
And it's
the
okay.
best way.
There's nothing wrong with that.
And I did enjoy it, but now that you guys have analyzed it, I think I'm on team you guys. I'm sorry, Nate. Nate, I let you down once again.
I'm that way a lot. I am that way with music, and I'm a little that way with movies too. But I don't know that I don't think this will ruin. I mean, I see everything you're saying, but it's not going to ruin it for me. I don't think. And I think part of that is because like I'm there for a lot of movies. I'm really there for like, and Nick kind of said it. It's a version of like you've watched it at a particular time.
Yeah.
But I also think there are movies obviously I grow out of or that I change and don't like as well. But I think that a lot of this is like I don't expect characters in movies to be perfect or all the things to be wrapped up in exactly like the most interesting ways. I just want movies to do certain things, and this one does certain things for me.
Yeah.
I mean, to misquote Rick James, Manic Pixie Dream Girls are a hell of a drug.
Exactly. I guess I hear what you're saying, Nate. I don't expect my characters to be perfect, but at the same time, if they're going to be presented to me as the hero, like they're supposed to be in this movie, I guess I feel like.
Yeah, I mean,
and I want him to be that.
I go back to the point. Like I'm totally there with you in the sense that the choices that make him less than heroic are careless rather than intentional. And so that for me is like that's the knock, right? Like, but I don't even need my heroes.
I think you're absolutely right, though. What you said, careless rather than intentional. Whereas, like, this is like the first thought they had to make the resolution to the story or to do whatever the character is. It's like, oh, he didn't leave it for her because he wanted to hang on to her. But it's like, no, you know what I mean? Once you dig into it the tiniest bit deeper, it's like a weird, it's like a weird thing, right? But I don't think that was their intention, is what you're saying, right?
Yeah, I don't think they were trying to make him complicated, right, per se.
Exactly.
Right? They were just not really, worrying about the implications.
100%.
Well, and honestly, I think that's a thing on Reynolds, right? Is think about what character in any rom-com that he's done, what character is kind of very deep.
Yeah. No, I mean,
It's extremely deep that Ryan Reynolds' character plays. There's not many, and whether that's a knock on his just how he comes off in movies or like a positive thing, because you're going to take it for face value. It's going to be comedic in a lot of ways if you like him, but if you start to try and like dig, that's probably why people come into the movies wanting and expecting a little bit.
Yeah. So.
Nick mentioned Bert Kreischer earlier, the stand-up comedian that takes his shirt off and does funny jokes. The movie Van Wilder, based on his life.
Really?
What?
Yep.
No, it is not.
I swear to you, he went to Florida State for 9 years, and
I didn't
the movie
know
Van
that.
Wilder is. I mean, obviously, there's ridiculous shit that happens in that movie, but
Yeah.
the character like is based on him.
Oh my god,
That's crazy.
yeah, wild shit.
All right. So what are we jumping into Cameo, right?
Cameo.
Oh, that's our new theme song. I like it. Hey, speaking of, man, we got to go over to Scotch Beck's house. We got to start recording some little some of these bumpers. We need to get some of those down now that everybody's healthy and happy. So, all right, Cameo pricing. There's one person who was on Cameo. I mean, there was a lot of people in this movie. There was only a few that were actually kind of like featured. I tried to go through some of them, and especially like some of the friends that kind of work on the campaigns and stuff. I found one person on Cameo.
The roommate.
the head guy who's like, "That's my guy. That's my guy."
Yeah, I kind of thought it'd be like
Okay.
we're walking that dude. Like,
Yeah.
we're walking, not that dude.
A couple of the red herring brunettes that are in the very beginning that they kind of dangle out there like, oh, this could be a love interest. This could be a love interest.
Is it the guy that sells them cigarettes in the store?
I wish it would have been. No, I might not even looked up their names. I probably didn't even look up their names. But actually, who it is the candidate that he works for.
Yeah.
Arthur Robredo.
Robredo.
The actor's name is Nestor Serrano.
He's been on some things. I mean, like
He's been a lot.
recognize him.
This is, in fact, this movie is not even like in the IMDb they have like the top 4 things they've been in. This is not one of those top.
What's he
4
got
things.
going for him?
He's been in quite a bit of stuff. His top 4 known fours are The Day After Tomorrow. He was Gomez.
Yeah.
Bad Boys. He's Detective Sanchez. I think they're the ones that like talk shit to the bad boys quite a bit. Secretariat. He was Pancho Martin, and then Act of Valor. He was Walter Ross. So he's got some credentials there.
Less than $100 though.
How much are you paying for
Oh,
Nestor Serrano?
good, Zach.
Well, I was gonna say, what did we watch the other day where I was like, oh, it's got to be like $150, but it was like way lower.
We all thought that you guys were all thinking Jeff Anderson from
Oh, the guy from Clerks.
Clerks dude was going to be way more.
Yeah.
And he was a lot cheaper than you thought.
So this guy is equal to him, so I'm going $60.
I'm going to say 48.
Ooh, nice.
40.
Oh God.
Boy. This is, like I said, this movie's not even in his credits. He's been in a lot of stuff.
Oh, jeez.
$100.
What?
$100
For Robredo?
for Arthur Robredo.
Guy didn't even stay in the race.
Padding more of my Cameo stats that mean nothing.
And $700. Yeah, no, you'd be leading, I think, in cameo
meaningless
pricing.
stats. You'd be
$700
leading.
$700 for his business fee. So if you want to like get him to shout out BVK, $700. I don't think we're gonna pay Nestor
No.
$700.
Unless we do, what is it, Day After Tomorrow? Is that what you said?
He was in Day After Tomorrow. Pretty big role.
But that's not the movie I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of the one where Tom Cruise wakes up over and over again. That's
That's
not Day
Edge
After
of Tomorrow.
Yeah, fuck. All right.
Way better movie.
Yes, agreed.
But
I
that's
love
it.
that
That's
movie.
Cameo. Cameo's been letting us down a lot lately. Cameo, step your game up, man. Come on. Ever since you have not hired BVK as like your official sponsor, I mean,
Gone downhill.
it's been struggling.
It has. It's gone way downhill, right?
All right. Streaming recommendations? Is that where we're at?
That's where we are.
Who's got them? I got them. Who you got? What do you guys got?
I said it earlier, Little Miss Sunshine streaming on Prime Video. I think you might have to pay $3.99 for it. Maybe not. But 2006, you got Steve Carell, Alan Arkin, our girl from this movie, Abigail Breslin.
Kinnear.
Greg Kinnear, that's what I couldn't think of. And then the mom from Sixth Sense. What is her name?
Forgot what her name is.
It's not like we're not on a movie podcast, so don't blame us for not knowing her name.
Damn it.
But it's a road trip movie. A family takes a road trip for Abigail Breslin's character. She's joining kind of like a little miniature Miss America kind of pageant, and it's kind of like about their lives. It gets dark at times. Steve Carell's character, Steve Carell is amazing in it. That's one of the first movies when I saw him really
Get your Mac.
act his freaking nuts off, and I was like, wow, he can do that.
Yeah.
an eye opener. So it's a fun watch, not too dark, but dark enough to be like I just watched a drama. So good stuff.
Go ahead, Brad.
So I didn't necessarily appreciate this movie too much, and I was trying to think of like all the different where am I going to go with this, and I decided one of my favorite, I guess you could call it almost a romantic comedy, and it's Better Off Dead. John Cusack. It's and I'm being such a dick here because this is not streaming anywhere. Can't even give away a YouTube link for it. I even searched for. I was like, hey, can we get some of those illegal YouTube links? Check Daily Motion. There's a video site called Daily Motion. I think you can find it in 2 halves. So look for it. Better Off Dead. It's a movie where a guy's trying to kind of like he's trying to manage like which girl do I want? He's got 2 girls to choose from. That kind of same situation, but it's just a stupid fun movie.
That's great.
It's a classic of the 80s. If you've never seen it, you owe yourself to watch it.
$2.
I don't think I've
so many things that just go into that movie that are classics.
I just saw like what is maybe my all-time favorite meme of any sort the other day, and it's a Price is Right. The picture of Price is Right, and the kid from there is on there, and his bid is $2.
He's sitting behind the thing with his bike, and in the bid right in front of his little thing, $2.
It's so like cleverly perfect. That I was like,
so I saw Nate
beautiful.
post on that like this is the best thing I've ever seen or something like that, and I was like, fuck, I don't get this reference.
Oh, you got Better Off Dead is worth watching.
It's
go to,
absolutely worth it. It's
Really?
so good.
not streaming anywhere, but go to Daily Motion and you can find it in 2 halves. And ads are going to fuck you up, but it's worth it.
I'm gonna go with my favorite Ryan Reynolds movie, which is the remake of the Amityville Horror that is on HBO Max. And it is not funny or entertaining or romantic comedy at all. And it's not the greatest horror movie ever, but it's a silly little romp that I think you guys would like. And Ryan Reynolds looks crazy hot in it.
all right. I'm going to jump on Brad's bandwagon of recommending things you literally can't find anywhere to stream. Actually, I'm going to do 2. So one is A Lot Like Love, which is a Ashton Kutcher movie that fits perfectly with this because you guys probably will hate it.
Brittany Murphy's in it?
I've seen it.
Ashton Kutcher and Amanda Peet. And it has a little bit of the same feel of like there's an overtime element to it, where they kind of connect and reconnect over time, which I actually might argue that one's a better watch, certainly tighter and a little less complicated. But anyway, so that's one that I would recommend. It says apparently on Just Watch, the app, it says you literally can't stream it anywhere. So I have no idea what to
So you got to watch it on YouTube illegally.
So
we'll post the.
just go dig through somebody's DVDs and
Yeah,
have it. Okay,
We'll post the link.
but you can stream, and just because it has the same word in the title, Always Be My Maybe, which is another rom-com, and it is a Netflix original, so you can watch it on Netflix. And actually, it's funny and good and very like predictable rom-com, but solid. Some interesting things. The band that the main guy is in is like really funny and has some funny songs. And Keanu Reeves has one of the best cameos as himself in any rom-com ever. So it's great.
I'll say just because a couple of us recommended things that aren't actually streaming, go to HBO Max, watch Zombieland. Abigail Breslin's in it.
Yeah, she's awesome.
And she's solid in it. So it's a fun movie.
Love that one.
All right, so we are on to the final stretch here, alternate endings / reshelf, where we either come up with an alternate ending for the film, or we take the movie from the genre it's in and we hop it on over to a different shelf in Bev's video store, maybe making it, I don't know, a horror movie, a drama. What do you guys got?
Yeah, I got a reshelf. I threw this thing into it's just a dumb comedy. We're going to go just super dumb comedy in which Will ends up getting on with the Clinton staff. He actually gets hired on to Clinton's staff. He's working in the White House. So it's like, God damn, I got this job. It's so great. He keeps dating these girls in ridiculously stupid ways. They keep getting fucked by President Clinton.
That's fucking great.
He moves on from one and then he gets to the next one. He brings in the new girl and the same thing happens. And every time he asks Bill about it, his response is, he's like, "Did you fuck her, Bill?" "Well, definitely, maybe. I don't know, Will. I fuck a lot of girls." And eventually, Will sets Clinton up, though, by hiring Monica Lewinsky. And in order to break the story, he clues Linda Tripp into it, and he just tears that whole shit down. And he gets him involved in one of the biggest presidential scandals of all time. So he actually he's the head, the kingpin of that.
I make sure and wash up after.
I washed up.
Can you
before I
wash
got
my
with
balls, Monica?
So that's my reshelf. It's just a stupid comedy, but yeah, Bill Clinton just fucking all the girls.
Damn.
We're fucking in the congressional library.
Library.
She's licking my balls in the library.
That sounds like fucking Mayberry.
I was gonna say that sounds like Gomer Pyle.
That Andy Griffith.
Jimmy Stewart.
We're showing our age right now.
Them girls.
Do you get these references? Are you getting these references? Are you in our target demo?
All of a sudden, it became a dirty version of Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, where he makes a speech on the Senate floor, takes a break in the cloakroom to bang it out with him.
Oh man!
I got a reshelf.
All right,
Let's do it.
Horror movie.
Ooh, horror movie.
So he's
What
telling.
kind of-
He's
kind of
telling.
horrors are in it?
Oh God! I'm not I'm throwing the bait out there. I'm not.
Don't engage. Don't
I'm not
engage.
gonna bite. So he's telling the story the same way you hear it, but the flashbacks that he's telling his daughter, 2 out of 3 girls he's murdering.
Oh,
So like the first one, it doesn't work out. Like they break up, but no, she cheats on him.
Little
Well, no.
Patrick Bateman.
So he doesn't kill her for cheating on him. He tries to murder her. It doesn't work out. It shows like false, messed up attempts to kill Elizabeth Banks because they end up together. But it doesn't work out with
Rachel Weisz.
Rachel Weisz and the other girl, and it just shows he's telling this nice fluffy story, joking around threesomes.
But the
and
flashbacks are
the flashbacks are
bad.
him are him murdering them for it not working out and them turning him down. And at the end, you've seen what happens. She runs to her mom. She had just got done serving him divorce papers, and they just looks at him looking at her, and then it just like, and then it cuts to credits,
Oh, you know what's
and you know what's gonna come.
I love that. At the end when it goes dun dun, is that the Law and
It's
Order?
the Law and Order.
Dun dun.
Oh, that's solid though. I like that. I dig that.
all right. Anyone else? Anything?
I got nothing. That was fucking spectacular, guys.
All right. Well, that's another one. That's another Bev's Video Kingdom for you. Not the most popular movie on Bev's, but a fun discussion anyway. Anybody?
I didn't dislike it.
No, good pick. I mean,
I mean, we used to talk sometimes back in the day in like the old garage tapes of like, would we watch this again? And I don't see myself.
Oh yeah, we used to ask everybody if they would watch this again.
I'll
Did you
wa-
watch it again,
I'll watch it multiple more times.
Nikki?
no.
Yeah, I probably won't either. But not for
Watch
any
it
other
for us,
reason.
Nate.
Sorry, I
Watch
mean,
it for us,
yeah.
Nate.
All right. Well, I'll watch it one time for each of you.
Not
Back
for
to
any
back.
other reason, but it's just like, would I watch this again, or could I watch The Butterfly Effect for the 47th time?
Jesus.
I mean, come on.
Those are your two options. though.
Serious.
I'll watch
serious
this
questions.
one again then.
All right, we're wrapping up. We'll see you on Thursday for our draft, which is the most memorable movie gifts.
Hey, and we've seen a spike in listeners. So if you're a new listener, get onto your iPhone and go to your iPhone app and click on subscribe to our thing. Click the little check mark.
That is truth. Yeah, just subscribe and tell a couple friends. Say
Maybe your review, Brad.
hey, hit us up on the Facebook. We've had a lot of fun communications with a lot of you guys out there. It's been fun times. So.
And a shout out to some folks that are friends. Courtney Jackson, who's a friend of my wife's from way back from college, is apparently a rabid listener. She was like concerned the other day because there was some sickness running around and was worried that I might not be able to be on the pod. And she was like, "Wait, is there not going to be a pod this week?" So she was like, this was her first thought. So
And you're like, diarrhea won't stop us, bro.
that's right. So CJ, glad you're listening. And of course, we've had Katie and Tony, who are our listeners out in Maryland. One of the OGs, Joe Paulson, who has mail order rides, was like thinking about it. So maybe someday we'll get a little partnership with Mail Order Rides, which is a skateboard company that he has.
We were talking briefly about Joe's little brother earlier, Bobby Paulson, and that dude used to call me, and I would answer the phone, and he'd be like, "What's up? What you doing?" I'm like, "Nothing. What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm pooping." And I'll be like, you're what? And he's like, yeah, I'm pooping, so I figured I'd call you. And this was like before cell phones. He was just like on the house phone, pooping, eating potato chips, and trying to talk to me on the phone.
Training for
His
top
name was
sphincter.
Bobby Paulson.
Bro.
His name is Robert
Paulson.
Paulson. Legitimately.
His name.
That's fucking awesome.
And Joey's
R.I.P. Meatloaf.
Oh, that's true. Damn, that's recent. But Joey's one of the most positive dudes we know, and shout out to Joey for sure for being a good listener.
Yeah, thanks everybody for listening. Tell a friend, text somebody that you think might like us, and send them our link and tell them to check us out.
Wash your hands.
Wash them. All right, guys. We'll see you on Thursday.
Bye-bye.
I wanna be at Beverly's, bringing me home with my movies, just a blind ride, no reason why. I love this scene. Nick Natek and Brad, your favorite podcast. The stars.